Hi friends, hello, namaste. How are you? How is the lockdown period treating you? While we are in lockdown, I thought of sharing a very small story with you. This story is about our missile development program, specifically Agni, and it revolves around that. It's about the testing of Agni missile, like while we were done with the manufacturing and what challenges we faced during its testing and how did we overcome that. So 1980s wala decade, that decade was specifically famous for its in like so many of missile development programs. Government of India and DRDO were working day and night to in a mission called as IGBM, like Integrated Missile Development Program. And in that, under that program, they were working on many missiles simultaneously. So far, like by 1987, by the end of 80s decade, we were able to manufacture so many missiles. To name some of them, Prithvi, Akash, Nag, Trishul, and the last in the list was Agni, which was the most powerful one among all of them. So while by 1987 we were done with the manufacturing of Agni missile, and the next step to it was its testing. So usually any missile, it's obviously a very high speed equipment. It travels at a very high speed, and when it travels at such a high speed, it faces a lot of air friction in reverse, as well as heat generated from it. So they have to make sure that the material which they are using in the manufacturing is that it can endure such high friction as well as a heat generated. So for testing it, how do they do it is using a equipment called as wind tunnel. So inside wind tunnel, air at that particular velocity, like what is expected for the missile when it will be facing the real environment, at that velocity they made the air to flow inside that tunnel, and then they keep a small prototype or model of the missile there, and then that's how they test it, like whether it's working fine under those conditions or not. So Agni was the most powerful one of all the missiles we have. It was made to operate in hypersonic environment, which is like having airspeed, or it could have an enthalpy and the airspeed above 6,300 kilometers per hour. So at that high speed we wanted to test it, but the problem was we didn't have a wind tunnel for such high capabilities. Like we couldn't make a wind tunnel where we can make such high air to flow. So before to start, like what we did about it, I want to tell about the missiles. How do we, like, what parameters a missile is said that it is a powerful missile or it is not a powerful missile, like what are the measures mainly in missile development. So there are two things which we take care of while making missiles. One thing is its payload capacity. Payload as in very simple terms, the weight it can carry over itself for one distance to another. And second thing, it's speed, like how fast it can go from one place to another. And then there are so many further divisions which we won't go into the technical details and rest of the stuff, but just as a very simple thing, these are the two major factors which we take care of. So Agni's payload capacity, like the weight it was about to carry, and the distance, both were very high. It was being developed for an intent of keeping in mind, like for a nuclear purpose, like in future if we are going ahead with our nuclear testing, so Agni could carry that nuclear payload with it. So that was the purpose basically behind Agni missile. So when we didn't have to a proper environment or wind tunnel to test it, it was decided that some team of scientists from India would go to West Germany. So we decided to take help from West Germany, and there we'll go with our small prototype of the missile and we'll test it there, and then we'll come back. That's how it was planned. So during that time, there was a group of nations, or there were so many nations which already have these sort of missile technologies with them, which Sir APJ Abdul Kalam in his book has mentioned as the elite club. Those people, the list include US, Canada, France, Germany, of course, West Germany, UK. So all these countries were a sort of group which had these technologies, and for obvious reasons they didn't want any other nation to develop such capabilities. So during that time, while our team of scientists was in West Germany to test, they made this sort of pact, or they agreed to this this common agreement. They had this common agreement that they won't allow any other nation, they won't help any other nation who is who is making such missiles. So they made a pact called as MTCR. Missile Transfer Control Protocol. So in that pact, it was said that they won't transfer their missile technologies or anything related to that to any nation if that nation is developing missile beyond capabilities, like beyond if it is carrying a war payload of more than 500 kgs, and that missile it can go up to like more than it can it can cover a length of beyond 300 kilometers. So they said that if any nation wants to make a missile which can carry over 500 kgs and can go beyond 300 kilometers, they won't help that nation in developing the missile in either way. So that means for materials, for its material, for testing, for any help in the technology, they won't help that nation at all. So our scientist team had to come back empty-handed without testing the missile due to MTCR being in place. And now since it was already there in place, we couldn't ask for help from any other nation as well. So now what to do, how to test the missile, and if we have to make our own wind tunnel of hypersonic environment, it would take another 5 years, and we couldn't just wait 5 years for testing our missile. So it was decided, it was not decided actually. So our DRDO team contacted IISc Bangalore. There was a professor there named Professor S. Deshpande. At that time, he was working in the field of what is called as CFD, Computational Fluid Dynamics. So basically fluid, you know, right? The substance which can flow, any wind or gas and liquid substances. So they were working on the computational side of it, like how to simulate such substances or such behavior in a computer. So they reached out to them and they asked whether we can have a way wherein that like airflow or the wind tunnel which they are having in, like where they are making that wind to flow in physical, if that can be done in computer simulation. So how does the simulation thing work? For those who don't understand it very clearly, I would give a very common example. If you learn car driving nowadays, before taking you to the car itself, sometimes especially in big cities, how do they do it is they have a computer program for it. So they would make you sit on a like which appears like a car seat, and you will have a steering in your hand, but that steering is not controlling an actual car, it's controlling a car in the computer. So first you will learn to move around that steering in a virtual environment, and once you're like comfortable with that, then only you will be taken to the road, to a real environment. So that sort of thing they did with our missile. So instead of testing that missile into actual physical environment, its prototype, how did they do is they made a program for it. They simulated a program to have that airflow in computer, and they gave the parameters of missile to test it. But like, how do we make sure that our program is working fine or correctly? So that for this purpose, they took data from the earlier made Prithvi missile, whose testing was already done. So they took data of Prithvi missile, put that into the computer, test their program. The program was working fine, and once it's tested, they gave it the data of Agni missile. And that's how they tested it. It worked perfectly inside that program in the computer simulation, and then they tested it on the whole missile, the real missile. And on 21 May 1989, its physical testing was done, and it worked perfectly. So that was it. That was a small story which I wanted to tell. It gives us an inspiration, sense of pride, as well as like we should be knowing about the achievements of our great team of scientists and engineers who worked day and night at that time, and they made sure that we are we become the superpower that we are right now. So on that note, I would love to continue such stories with you in future. With that note, I would just say goodbye. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.